Hej, 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 siemano, witam was ponownie w kolejnym odcineczku Call of Juarez Gunslinger. Tak w poprzednim odcinku kontynuujemy tutaj łapanie naszego szarego wilka. Tak widzicie, no tutaj jest troszeczkę przeciwników.
I was determined to locate Grey Wolf and find out exactly what the hell he was trying to tell me.
Okej, łapiemy go dalej.
And wouldn't you know it, that crafty son of a bitch led me right into a trap.
What kind of trap?
Well, son, there had to be at least 100 Apaches surrounding me.
100?
God be my witness.
Oh, come on.
Kurczę, mogłem wtedy trafić.
Hey, I believe you. Come on, tell us how it ended.
All right, but I'm not gonna drag this out. Where were we?
You were surrounded by 100 Apache warriors.
Well, I didn't take the time to count them exactly, but there were a lot of them.
Kurczę, czemu nie trafiłem? Jakaś masakra normalnie, zaraz mi tutaj podświartują.
And in the end, a path appeared before me that I had not seen before.
Dobra, całe szczęście. Już się to
I
skończyło.
followed it as I desperately needed to find out what Grey Wolf was trying to tell me. But it was like that son of a bitch disappeared into thin air. Never did find him. And never did collect my goddamn bounty.
No niestety, no, szary wilk uciekł. No
Thank
pewnie
you,
jeszcze raz go
darling.
spotkamy.
It's interesting how the truth can sometimes seem might malleable, depending upon your point of view.
Like how those dime novels make you out to be something you're not?
Jack, don't be starting trouble.
No, he's right. They do tend to exaggerate.
Did they exaggerate your part in taking down the Daltons?
Well, I was there in the flesh, boy, so I saw what happened firsthand. Those Daltons were lawmen once, before they all went bad, robbing banks and trains clear across the territory. Until Coffeeville, of course. I was one of the citizens who took up arms that day.
Fighting on the side of right.
I did my best, sir. We all did.
No i coś nowego. Bracia Dalton. Zaraz sobie ich złapiemy. Zobaczymy, co tu nas zaskoczy też w sumie. Fajnie by było też już odblokować sobie tę strzelbę.
It was early morning. One of my friends was a local gunsmith, and he handed out firearms to anybody who'd take
Wolę
one.
już to.
You see, the Daltons got it in their heads to rob two banks at the same time. Two banks on the same damn street. Story was Bob Dalton's girl was always writing him about how he had no ambition. Oh, you're nobody next to Jesse James, she'd say. Finally, the bastard took his brothers to Coffeeville just to shut her up.
Right. It's always the woman's fault.
Well, the locals recognized the Daltons right off. Before they could get away, half the town took up arms to defend their property.
Hey, we got us a hero. Put some holes in him.
No i dobra, macie panowie plecy bohatera. Chyba.
The brothers paid dearly for their stupidity, but everybody knows they had it coming.
There's more to it than that. I read all about that day, so I know for a fact that it went down very differently. First of all, it was high noon. A posse of U.S. deputy marshals were on the rooftop across the street.
Get ready, boys. They're gonna make a move.
The lawmen had been tracking the Daltons for months, and now they finally had them dead to rights. Among them was a bounty hunter feared by many a lawbreaker.
Dobra, okej, dopadnijmy teraz tych braci.
They'll give up eventually. We just gotta wait for some of the bitches out.
This bounty hunter knew that the brothers were far too proud to ever lay down their guns.
O, pięknie, kolejny level. Fast timing, o, to mi się przyda na pewno.
So he went in there alone to confront those criminals.
Dobra, okej, zejdźmy na dół.
Shouted, "Where are you going? Are you crazy?"
Hey, where do you think you're going, dumbass? That rifle's mine.
But he paid him no mind. He saw a way to get around to the back of the bank. Then he figured out how to hit the Daltons from a direction they weren't expecting.
Dobra, wejdźmy na wieżę ciśnień. Przeskoczymy sobie na
From
dach.
above. Fortunately, a water tower was right there.
I
A moment later,
spróbujemy
he was climbing up a steep ladder,
po prostu
laughing
wybawić
at danger as
braci
he did.
Dalton.
It was brave men like him who risked their lives to tame this wild country.
Dobra, jesteśmy na dachu, ale tu się chyba nic nie dzieje specjalnego. Oprócz tego, że właśnie wysadzili safe chyba.
Heroic men like him
Witam Państwa
did what other
serdecznie.
men couldn't or wouldn't to make this country free.
Is that Silas
Jim Boot,
Greaves?
Davy
Son of a
Crockett, who
bitch!
died defending the Alamo.
Dobra, okej, rozwalenie już prawie wszyscy. O kurczę, ten to mnie ładnie trafił. O, tu pusto.
Over there!
Nie wierzę, czemu nie spróbowało mi.
That's Silas Greaves! What the hell?
Blam! Blam! He came away victorious, taking down those thieving Daltons. His name?
Okej, wygląda na to, że
Silas
zniszczeni.
Greaves. And when the dust finally settled, he was the last man standing.
Sorry, kid, but that just wasn't the way it happened. It was
Kurczę,
early
muszę kusić, jak
evening,
to
not
było.
high noon.
Wierzyć mi się w to nie chce.
The Daltons blew up a safe, and were all set to hightail it out of there. I was late to the party, and Coffeeville was already up in arms. Those pathetic deputies surrounding the bank were dropping like flies. I had been tracking those jokers for months, waiting for them to do something reckless. And finally, they did. Those stupid bastards decided to rob 2 banks at the same time in the same town where everybody knew them. But they still had friends in Coffeeville.
Face me, you coward!
Kurczę, nie podoba mi się to. Gościu z tarczą zawsze jest ciężki do pokonania.
And those friends came after me like a pack of wild dogs, tooth and nail. They were coming at me from all directions.
Dobra, okej, wygląda to, że wszyscy.
I caught sight of the Daltons running with the money and didn't want to lose them. Problem was, they knew the town better than I did. And to top it off, I found myself in the middle of another shootout entirely.
Did the Daltons hole up in somebody's house?
No, it was the Smiths, I believe. They were cousins of the Daltons. And they were shooting at the Browns, who were shooting at the Daltons. Which wasn't any surprise, because those two families have been feuding forever. And since the Joneses are related to the Browns, they shot at the Smiths, pissing off the Heimhoffers, whose daughter recently married a Smith. Well, bullets were flying every which way as all the old feuds in Kansas caught fire all at once. There was a hell of a lot of pissed off people in Coffeyville that day. But that's just the way life is sometimes. Shit happens.
Dobra, okej, ja przeszukam sobie to mieszkanie, może coś znajdę. Zawsze warto przejść sobie w takim pokoiku. Często też są takie rzeczy, które mogą się nam przydać. Bardzo. Dobra, okej, teraz chyba trzeba iść na górę.
Those Daltons weren't the sharpest knives in the drawer, but they always stood together. They set a trap to slow me down and allow at least two of them to escape. The third brother stayed behind to plan me, just in case that trap of theirs didn't work.
Dobrze, uniknęliśmy tego. Poczekam, bo może będą jeszcze jakieś pułapki. Też raczej myślę, że już powinno być czysto. Dobra, okej, teraz w tą stronę. To nic nie ma.
The youngest, and he decided to stand his ground and face me down.
I ain't afraid of you, Silas Greaves. This is where it ends for you.
He was determined to protect his brothers, and I understood how he felt. Taking me on all by his lonesome wasn't exactly a recipe for a long life.
Staram się trafiać mu w głowę. Będzie nam łatwym celem.
But Emmett Dalton survived the robbery in Coffeyville. He's the only Dalton who did.
They say he was shot 23 times.
Well, Dwight, who do you think put all those damn holes in him? But I have to admit, that boy had grit.
Okej, udało się nam przejść i w sumie wykończyć jednego z 3 Daltonów. Jeszcze pozostałych 2. Więc pewnie będziemy musieli właśnie wybrać się na bagna w poszukiwaniu ich. Dobra, okej, zaczynamy. Kolejna opowieść.
It took me a couple of days to track the Daltons down.
They can't get away with this!
And in that time, a whole posse of local vigilantes offered to lend a hand.
Dobra, ja oczywiście
They seemed as determined as me to find those outlaws. But as we headed into those swamps, it was like I had my own private army. There was no way those boys were getting away this time.
Ale polecimy sobie ze strzelbą, nie
It was early
ma
fall,
amunicji.
right? Beautiful time of year. At least you had the weather on your side.
Not by my recollection. It was damp and foggy as hell. It was tough to stay on a true course, so we kept an eye out for landmarks.
Okej, jak na razie jest trochę zbyt cicho.
It was autumn. The maple trees were in full color, red as blood.
Pewnie coś się zaraz zacznie dziać
The
tutaj.
rains that year were torrential, so the whole area was flooded. The vigilantes had spread out wide, and pretty soon I couldn't see anybody.
Zaraz tylko tutaj sobie przejdę, bo może uda mi się coś znaleźć. Właśnie, tutaj mamy sekret. Oczywiście go biorę i lecimy dalej.
Except for some bitches ahead of me wanting to do me harm. So I had to face them alone.
O, ty kurczę cwaniaku, ty.
I wondered why my compatriots didn't come running when they heard the shots.
Dobra, okej,
So
wyczyszczenie.
did you find the Daltons?
Not yet. But I did have the questionable pleasure of meeting a few of their friends.
No okej, ale widzę, że mamy już jakieś towarzystwo. O, amunicji trochę mało.
The boys had established quite a reputation by that time, so they attracted all manner of riffraff to
No,
their
szybko.
cause.
O, pięknie. Co mu to podrzucę? Niech zgarnia.
Point being, I was under serious attack. And my reinforcements was nowhere to be seen.
Dobranoc. Swoją drogą tutaj jeden też szedł, co miałem tylko potrójne zabójstwo. Dobra, okej, czysto. Przynajmniej chwilowo, ale zbiorę sobie amunicję.
But luckily, a barn materialized as if right before my eyes. I scrambled up top to get a better
Tylko, że
view.
w większości to są te pistoletu i to jest ten minusik dla mnie. Mam jeszcze, dobra, 53. Nie jest tak źle.
But just ended up falling inside.
So, how did you get out?
The barn doors was open. About right then, I saw some suspicious characters running for the bushes. Of course, I followed them. But that goddamn swamp was like a goddamn maze, and pretty soon I had no goddamn idea where I was. Steve? So I just started walking, and pretty soon...
Kurczę, musimy mieć za tymi opaskami, a tutaj nikogo nie widzę jak na razie. Więc może się pewnie... O, beczka. Pierdzielamy.
Steve? Steve?
Huh? Oh, no, I'm listening.
Indians surrounded me from all sides.
Dobra, zostaliśmy otoczeni. Ciekawe.
Indians?
They were Indians.
No. I just wanted to make sure Steve was paying attention. Now, where was I?
You were following the Daltons through a swamp?
That's right. See, Steve? Dwight's paying attention.
No, I'm listening. I was just resting my eyes.
So, where was I?
The Daltons.
Right. See, there's a reason so many outlaw gangs are made up of brothers. Being a brother is a very sacred thing. It's a bond like no other.
Dobra, okej, jesteśmy na tym. Ale nic się tu nie dzieje. Specjalnego.
Bounty hunter! Stop that, son bitch!
So did you ever find the
Tym razem
damn
się udało.
Daltons?
Not yet. But I did find a few of their cousins. You Kansans breed like rabbits. More Smiths or Heimhoffers or who knows what.
Kill that son bitch!
But hell, what's more important than family? I'll bet Ben knows what I'm talking about.
Kurczę, myślałem, że jestem dosyć daleko, żeby tylko nie dostać.
Bounty hunters! Stop that,
Dobra,
son
trudno.
bitch!
Trudno się mówi, żyje się dalej. Kurczę, żeby mi dynamitu mnie tu nie rzucił. To myślę, że by było trochę lepiej. Skąd on do mnie strzela? Dobra, level kolejny. More concentration for headshots. Sobie weźmiemy. Dobra, pytam się, bawcie, a ja sobie przejdę z drugiej strony do was.
Waste your bullets. Go ahead. Shit. Ah! Don't let that asshole get away with this. Ah! Ah!
Cwaniaki. Dobra, no przecież czysto na razie. Co tu mamy?
About to buy the farm. Show 'em how to die.
Dobra, załadowane. Czyli, że to był po prostu stick shocker. No nie widać, żeby była różnica. No jak już jest tak tutaj w prawym stanie, no to i tak jakiejś większej różnicy tutaj chyba nie ma. Kurczę, ładne obrażenia zadają. A zbyt ładne.
Hell's coming.
damn head off.
I knew those Dalton boys were out there somewhere,
Dobra,
standing
dziękuję
together
panu.
against anyone who would threaten them.
Nie, chyba źle idę, muszę iść tędy. Nie, jednak dobrze, bo nie ma innego wyjścia. Okej, gdzie jesteśmy?
That's when I saw it. A goddamn steamboat.
A steamboat in a swamp?
Yeah, Steve, but this wasn't much more than a wreck, really.
But how'd a damn steamboat end up in the swamps?
Guess it floated off during the flood of '89.
Now, was it a stern-wheeler or a side-wheeler?
What? Does that really make a difference, Steve? It was a steamboat with a goddamn army on board. It was then that a fusillade of bullets come raining down from on high, and those vigilantes who accompanied me weren't anywhere to be found.
Dobra, okej, zniszczyliśmy
But among those men that were shooting,
kolesia przy
I
działku.
saw some familiar faces.
Kurczę, no nie mogę jakoś trafić dzisiaj. Coś mi nie idzie. Dobra, okej, zgarniam jeszcze amunicję. Dobra, na razie cisza. O! Jeszcze jeden przebiegł. Raczej ja, kolego, wiedziałem, gdzie jesteś, czekałem aż się wychylić w końcu. No i gdzieś tutaj mamy sekret. Dobra, jest na górze, jak tam wejść? A, są schody. Okej. Dobra, mamy wszystko stąd. I pięknie udało się zdobyć.
Somewhere up there, the Daltons were waiting on me.
Tędy nie przejdę.
Yeah, you know you can't beat me.
Nie bądź takie pewne, kolego, tego.
Sounds like you don't give up too easy.
That's the kind of man I am, Ben.
O kurczę,
I
spodobałem
set out to
ostatnio.
do something. I do it. Surrender just ain't in my nature. Plus, I'm stubborn as hell.
Swoją drogą muszę przyznać, że ci duzi z tymi shotgunami nie są jacyś mega mocni do pokonania. Tam ciężko ich pokonać czy coś.
Did that asshole just kill Red?
Chyba normalnie się z nimi walczy. Bez jakiegoś problemu. Dobra, załadujmy tę broń i chodźmy zobaczyć, gdzie w końcu są ci bracia Dalton. Dobra, czyli musimy iść tędy sobie.
Right about then, much to my relief, the vigilantes finally arrived. Their leader motioned at a cabin in the middle of the top deck, pointing me directly at the Daltons. I finally had them, after months of dogged pursuit.
O kurczę, jakoś tutaj teraz...
But it
Aha,
turned
się
out
było
they
nadzieję.
had me.
Take him out! I'm sending you to hell!
The Daltons had played me like a fiddle. Apparently, the vigilantes were on their damn payroll. They didn't just want to shoot me. They wanted to burn me alive. But finding my way out of a burning labyrinth proved to be quite a challenge.
It was a riverboat, right? I mean, it's not like it was a goddamn ocean liner.
Well, yeah, but I was in a
Did you hear
fight.
about that ship that's gonna launch next year? Largest one in the world.
You're
well,
talking about the Titanic.
No kurczę,
If you
żeśmy
ask
tylko
me,
nie
it's
padli.
too blessed big. I don't think it'll even float.
So anyway,
Don't be stupid, Steve. They know what they're doing. They say that the Titanic is unsinkable.
oh God,
But getting back to that steamboat, how'd you get off it, Mr. Greaves?
I took in a lot of smoke that day, so I admit my recollection might be a bit hazy. But somehow I managed to finally disembark. It was time to settle this once and for all.
Dobra, w końcu jest coś, co lubię. O, to było piękne. W sumie nie strzelałem, a i tak trafiłem szczelnika.
Bob and Grat weren't about to come at me one at a time. They were in this together. Two brothers side by side, determined to take me down. Confident that this time the odds were on their
O
side.
kurczę, i tym razem wydaje mi się, że to będzie ciężkie do rozwalenia. Nie wiem, który z nich jest szybszy. Ale chyba ten drugi, tak mi się wydaje. No właśnie. On był szybszy. I dlatego zaczniemy sobie namierzać jego. A potem postaramy się rozwalić tego drugiego. Chociaż, że teraz pewnie ten drugi będzie szybszy. A w sumie nie chcę wykonać też niehonorowego zabójstwa.
They got it wrong.
O,
A
udało
sad
się.
end for those two. If they'd only known that Emmett was still alive despite his wounds. Paroled 14 years later, he moved to California and sold real estate and lived off the legend of that fateful day. And the tragic death of his two brothers.
Dobra, pięknie, pokonaliśmy dwóch braci.
My own brothers died tragically as well, truth be told. It was 1868, and me and my older brothers were pulling a tidy profit running cattle into Juarez, Mexico. One night after my brothers retired for the evening, I found a little poker game in a cantina with a couple of cowboys. And I just couldn't lose. I even won an old Spanish coin that had to be 100 years old. Well, I was mighty pleased with myself the next morning as my brothers and I rode for Texas. But before we crossed the border, those cowboys caught up with us. It was Johnny Ringo, Roscoe Bob Bryant, and another asshole named Jim. They wanted their money back and everything else we had, including our lives, as those boys didn't want us coming for them later. Bob put that old Spanish coin in my mouth and said, "I won't have it said that I left you with nothing, boy." Well, those horses bolted, and there we hung as those bastards rode away. The branch finally snapped under the weight of the three of us, but being my older brothers were bigger and heavier, they were already dead. And right then I swore to myself that I would avenge them. Ringo you know about. But Bob eluded me, until I heard he was riding with the Wild Bunch.
Okej, a więc wygląda na to, że musimy dorwać kolejnego tutaj gościa, który zabił nam braci. A więc do dzieła, zobaczmy sobie, co tutaj jest przygotowane dla nas. Mam quickshotera. Albo sixshotera. I pamiętam dokładnie, co to jest
Among them was the Sundance Kid.
Ale w każdym bądź razie chyba nie będzie taka szybka do przeładowania jak tamte.
You were part of that giant Pinkerton posse after the Wild Bunch?
No, boy. A circus like that would have slowed me down. Besides, I wanted Bryant all to myself. I'd heard about a large shipment of gold being transported to Wilcox, Wyoming on the Overland Flyer. I figured the Wild Bunch would likely hit such a treasure, and by God, I figured right. They blew the bridge with the intention of forcing the train to stop.
Dobra, weźmy może sobie to. Będzie bliżej do tej naszej
Well, I assumed the Wild
naszego
Bunch was
karabinu.
likely in the still intact part of the train high above. So I had no choice but to make my way up through the passenger cars dangling down. I was determined to make that sumbitch Bob pay for what he did to my brothers.
O kurczę, troszkę spadło.
I found the device they used to blow the tracks, so I knew I was headed in the right direction.
Dokładnie, mamy to po części już.
Well, I made my way off unscathed and came upon a few members of the gang and had no choice but to dispatch
To
them.
mi się podoba.
From there, I had to negotiate an even more precarious route. But first, I would need to get my ass out of there.
Słaba. O. O, dobra. Myślałem, że to jest kolejny sekret. A jednak nie. A ty jaką masz broń? Nie masz broni żadnej?
I jumped from the frying pan into the fire as the train was clearly fixing to fall. I had found the gang, but in order to find old Bob, I needed to fight my way forward past a whole passel of desperados.
Sobie, zobaczymy, co to jest za broń.
Outside, inside, any way I could, I made my way towards my prey.
Well, what about the passengers?
It was mostly a freight train, as I recall. There were no passengers aboard that day.
Quickshotter. Myślę, że zostawię sobie tą broń. Szybkie ładowanie. Kurczę, jak on tutaj mógł trafić? Bo w sumie nie wiem, bo mamy tego quickshotera. Gdzie jest? O, ja chyba zmienię sobie na Rangera, bo no jednak będzie
As I mentioned before, I am not fond of heights.
szybszy w
But I
strzelaniu.
was too busy dodging bullets to worry about falling to my death. Odds were I was likely to die that day anyway. So I was determined to take down as many of those bastards as I could. Times it was like shooting ducks in a shooting gallery. The only difference is these damn ducks shot back.
O kurczę. Czegoś takiego się tutaj nie spodziewałem. Muszę przyznać. O kurczę, bym tam wpadł prawie już. zaraz, bo zgubiłem się troszeczkę. Trzeba iść na górę, właśnie.
I kept hoping the law would show up and give me a hand.
You mean like that giant Pinkerton posse that I read about? Did they come riding in, guns a-blazing to help?
Dlaczego znowu zmieniamy historię?
Help? From the Pinkertons? No, son. I had to fight the Wild Bunch all by my lonesome, as usual.
Who the hell is that?
Dobra, pięknie, mamy pokonanych 4, tam został jeszcze 1. Jeszcze jeden, gdzie on jest? Wiem, że tutaj po tle po lewej stronie gdzieś tam skitrał. No bo wiecie co? Macie tam. Na pewno wam się to przyda. Muszę przyznać, że swoją drogą ten shotgun jest no słaby trochę. Dobra, super, mamy pokonanych kolejnych.
My guess is those dime novels didn't portray this as it happened, did they?
A dalej co, nikogo nie ma?
Only a few stragglers were left. I had to cut them down pronto if I was going to stay on old Bob's trail.
Kurczę, skąd tu jest teraz? Coraz więcej tych kiedyś przeciwników.
Once I silenced all those guns, I went searching for my nemesis, determined to finally have my justice. But the only survivor who welcomed me was George Flat-Nose Curry.
Who was he?
The fastest gun in the gang. Right after Sundance, I mean. And Kid Curry, and maybe Elsie Lay. Though some folks might dispute that.
Dobra, zobaczmy, czego pokonamy. W sumie nie mówię, że fajnie by było już kontynuować tutaj naszą... O kurczę, 1 za 1. Troszeczkę za późno też to ruszyłem. Muszę bardziej się skupić na nim. I zwiększyć trochę szybkość też. Kurczę, gdyby nie chodził, to by było łatwiej. Teraz to zważywiłem całkiem już. Kurczę, nie wierzę, no. Gdyby nie ten ostatni jego ruch, to by było już pozamiatane. No tak to tak, musimy pilnować tej szybkości, musimy pilnować też tego fokusa. Co nie jest łatwe w przypadku tego naszego przeciwnika.
On that very same day, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid decided to leave the Wild Bunch behind and decamped for South America. They ended up living down there for many years, but I'm sure you already know all about that. I tried to find Bob Bryant, but it was as if he'd disappeared. Sometime later, I heard the Wild Bunch was back together. Kid Curry escaped from jail, and now he was running the whole shebang.
Dobra, super. Mamy odblokowaną kolejną broń. Więc tym razem będziemy szli sobie tutaj w Quickshotera stronę.
So I took to their trail, as I was still in pursuit of my brother's killer and hoped that he was back with him.
Dobra, chodźmy szybko. Tutaj słyszę wilki, ale raczej...
That kid Curry's kinda crazy, ain't he?
Don't let him hear you saying that.
Anyways, I tracked those boys to a camp right outside Parachute, Colorado.
Znaczy, takich przeciwników nie będziemy mieli, ale myślę, że możemy zacząć to w ten sposób.
Being outnumbered, I didn't bother with a warning shot. I just started taking those bastards down.
That's it for you.
Dobra, łykaj śród.
Old Bob wasn't among them, and neither was Kid Curry. I could sense him close by, however, plotting something nasty. I just needed a clue as to their whereabouts.
Dobra, okej, a więc którędy mam iść? Górą nie pójdę. Aha, dobra. Mam poczekać.
And I found one. A map with their bold plan clearly marked. This time they were fixing to blow up a train trestle. Property of the Union Pacific. The plan clearly indicated how they were fixing to undermine several of the weakest wooden supports. Kid Curry was considered the wildest of the Wild Bunch. It was said that he fathered 85 bastard children, though some say it was only 5. Kid Curry had bragged to a whore how he was going to rob a train heading to the U.S. Mint in Denver. And that whore, Fat Sally, she told me. The bridge was rigged with dynamite, so I decided I'd best be careful confronting those bastards. A moment later, I saw a ladder that somehow had escaped my attention.
Don't you blow us up now.
Don't worry, I know what I'm doing.
But the Wild Bunch did not take kindly to my presence and attempted to blow my head off. It appeared the kid had found a number of new recruits to bolster their ranks. Guess there's always desperate men willing to trade their lives for stolen treasure.
What happened next?
Well, having removed the first bundle of dynamite, I decided I might as well remove the other one. Once that was done, I figured I'd find my way from there.
Dobra, okej, mamy już drugą tutaj paczkę dynamitu.
Somebody really pissed this son of a bitch up. That was too damn close.
zebrano. Zostało jeszcze trochę więcej. Tak więc ruszymy sobie dalej. Mam nadzieję, że nic nas nie o, tam ktoś idzie już na nas chyba. Mów za siebie.
Had to remove more of that damn dynamite.
It must have been terrifying trying to make your way across.
I was sweating it a bit, but then I noticed a footbridge tied up on high, so I shot the rope.
He's hurt now! Ah! That was too damn close.
Dobra, to było piękne.
So that was all the dynamite?
Funny you should mention that, darling. As actually there was a fourth charge impeding my progress. Once I removed it, my path was pretty clear.
No ja muszę celować w głowę niestety. Ma zwiększoną wytrzymałość kutas. Ta broń się nie nadaje do niczego, muszę przyznać. Tylko tyle, że mamy szybką możliwość przeładowania i szybko strzelamy. Ale tak to jest tutaj ciężko ogarnąć.
So I proceeded onward and realized that that way just wasn't gonna work. I needed an alternate path forward.
Dobra, okej, czyli tamtędy muszę iść właśnie. A nie tędy. Coś mi się pomyliło. Przejście na drugą stronę. Dobra, okej, jesteśmy na...
Luckily, I found a cave, and as I made my way back to the bridge, I saw something that concerned me. It was a long burning fuse, and it was moving fast as hell.
Na skalę i mamy chyba już problem, bo został podpalony ląd. Kurczę, tam gdzieś jest...
The burning fuse was so damn quick, I had to run like the wind. I almost had it, but no. Thought I was gonna have a coronary when I lost sight of those sparks.
Nie wierzę.
Get off the bridge!
I knew that failure meant boom. Then, finally, at the last moment. Whew. Of course, I was successful, or clearly I wouldn't be talking to you folks here today. Naturally, I removed the last dynamite charge.
Zejdę sobie jeszcze.
Well, it was a touching reunion.
Może uda się znaleźć jeszcze ten sekret. Przecież to wątpię już teraz. Musiałem się cofnąć bardzo daleko chyba. Więc okej, polecimy sobie.
But by this time, I was thoroughly exhausted and dragging my ass as I was not a young man anymore.
Zobaczymy, czy uda się złapać tego kolesia. O, może być ciekawie.
Finally, I found those boys, or more precisely, They found me.
Tracer and Kid Curry asked me.
Ach, nie w tę stronę. Dobra, no tak jak mówiłem, ten quickshotter to jest... Oj, chale. Nie no, masakra jakoś. Wyszedłem z sprawy. Muszę przyznać. Dobra, tym razem ich rozwalamy. Zobaczymy, co stanie się dalej w sumie też. Dobra, i teraz bez wątpienia zmieniam sobie na to. Okej. W sumie nie jest źle. Wy wiecie swoje, ja wiem swoje.
Just when I thought things couldn't get worse, Kid Curry opened up on me with a goddamn Gatling gun. It was hidden in this tunnel and pretty well shielded.
Dobra, gincie, bo muszę rozwalić kida. Będę wali jak do kaczek, ale myślę, że może zrobimy to sobie w kolejnym odcinku. W tym odcinku zostawimy sobie już w spokoju. A pokonamy sobie go w kolejnym odcinku i oczywiście przejdziemy dalej naszą historię, zobaczymy, co tam się dalej stało. Te opowieści. A więc dzięki za oglądanie, do zobaczenia w kolejnych odcinkach, trzymajcie się, hej!